He's an interesting character. I mean, he does that. He'll throw the ball. He always goes over to the fans. Yesterday, he predicted a guaranteed a Rough Riders Grey Cup victory when he was talking to the fans on the chain link fence there after practice. He's that kind of guy. But I liken him to Dwight Anderson in this sense, okay? When Dwight Anderson was at the top of his game, you put up with his shenanigans and you put up with all of that stuff. You know, some would say Dwight Anderson wasn't coachable, but you had to have him on your team, right? You talked about 2013, Rob, and this guy was unbelievable. Duron Carter has world-class talent. I think he's the best athlete in the CFL, as Murray just pointed out. He played receiver one play and then flips over and plays defensive back, okay? But when does his mouth outpace his talent? Do you know what I mean? Right now, his talent's outpacing his mouth, so they're going to put up with it. And I think he plays defense because they got to keep him engaged in the game. They got to keep him interested in football because he is bored. He is bored. He gets bored. Don't ask me. He's making $200,000. He's playing in the best place in the CFL to play, and he's adored, but he's bored. And so they got to keep him engaged. Got to meet with him 10 minutes before practice every time. You got to have him play D-back. He's going to catch 5 punts from the jugs machine. He's like that little Duron, if you eat your supper, we'll buy you 2. We'll get you Slurpee. Like, you always got to keep him. It's like, man, it drives me nuts, but he's also a great player. So, yeah, hey.
I think we might have a bumper sticker here. He's what was it? He's bored, but he's
bored, but he's bored, but he's engaged. Like he's bored, but he's engaged. I don't know. It's weird. You got to admit, Murray and Rob, this has got to be one of in the top 5 character / athletes we've seen play with the Rough Riders.
I can't think of a better athletic presence that the Rough Riders have had in 109 years. It's amazing. I think back to Curtis Marsh and sort of what a 5-tool receiver he was. He had everything. You can look at the great receivers in Rider history, and Hugh Campbell had great hands and great moves, but wasn't fast. And Joey Walters was the most spectacular receiver I've ever seen. He wasn't big.
Is that a Joey Walters mention?
Don Narcisse wasn't that fast. Wasn't that that big. You could look at them and say, okay, they've got 3 tools or 4 tools. And I looked at Curtis Marsh for that one amazing year in 2000 and said, he's got everything. Now I look at Duron Carter and I think, okay, he is even more talented than Curtis Marsh. Plus you can use him to return kicks. Plus you can put him on defense. Plus he's this presence. There's never been anybody like this on this football team. I can't think of anything of a comparable presence and a comparable character. Can you?
Is it a bad thing? I don't know. We started.
I think it's wonderful.
I think it's great to be able to talk to. Like, I still remember last year when we had some problems where Pollock went up to talk to him, and Duron said to him, I got this, man. Don't worry about it. He came up and he answered all the questions and didn't say no comment. I can't remember. Maybe it was after the fight, I think. After that. And I was so impressed that he handled
it. Fight that I missed?
Yeah.
Was there a fight?
Yeah. But he handles all that stuff. He handled his court case stuff. Answers the question, doesn't say, well, I can't talk about it's not a court case. And he does all that stuff away from the field, and people love him. So we put up with him. Maybe, as I said, maybe we should just sit back and enjoy him, watch what this guy's going to contribute to a team, and question if things go wrong. But boy, oh boy, it's sure fun. It sure livens up things a lot more than having, listen to some of the other guys who talk and don't really offer much substance or even interest or even a decent quote. So, Ballsy, I know you're losing it a bit over.
No. I like him. I just came from the old school where you were a team first guy, but it's the new wave of football player. And you know what? As a media guy, we're hard to please. We can't sit here and complain about the same old quotes. How many times have we said, you could take a clip from 2000 and put it in 2018, and it'd be this, we got to stick to our systems and we got to play 60 minutes. This guy, we can't complain because he is a dream for what we do. He has different quotes, Today, he tweeted this morning, my goal today is to tick off as many middle-aged guys as I can because nobody trash talks me on the field anymore. That's what he started his day with tweeting. So I do like the guy. I think he's refreshing, but I just wonder I don't know how coachable he is.
Did you watch it? TSN had that wired. They had the 2017 East Division final wired, And Grotto was one of the guys on the screen that was wired. And when I was watching him when things were struggling, I was wondering, is he losing it on his players? And when you listen to the tape, he's not losing. He's losing it on himself. He's pushing himself. He's encouraging other guys. So I was really impressed to how he handled that when we were all watching thinking he's blowing up on the side. Remember in the first half?
Yeah.
Like he was having issues. He was blowing up at himself. It wasn't doing anything. I didn't see him say anything negative or anything towards any other people. It was about him. And I that's when I came a little more impressed with him when I listened to that Wired thing and saw what he can do and how seriously he takes himself and how he's pushing himself. So, as I said, and the problem is we can always say, but he's going to do something that's going to be dumb. Because I don't know about you, but I don't bring pot or sharp objects with me on my carry-on to a plane. Sorry, guys.
I haven't done that for years, in fact.
I haven't done it. I leave them at home. But he did it. I'm not saying the sharp objects. So I don't see. He does dumb things. And I guess maybe that's an intriguing part of him.
Guys, he right now, think about it. Until number 17 shows us something different in Colaros, Duron Carter's the face of the Rough Riders.
Isn't that different?
He is the face of the Rough Riders. He's your Dressler. He's your Durant. He's your guy. You go into that Rider store, I guarantee you 89 is the jersey everybody's buying. Duron, yesterday, Murray, he's trying to set the record for catching the most punts from the jugs machine. He gets 5. Everybody's cheering when he gets knocked over by 6. He is the face of the team, whether we talk about him this way, but he is. He's the face of the team.